Greetings, everybody. So, this is Ceciliantas here, also once known as Alexandris. Today, this is a little unusual for me. I am doing a commentary reaction video. It's going to be a bit of a long one for this ZenithXI Visuals Tech demo. Now, in my Discord, I have greatly expressed interest in this private server. I even made a channel for it to where I can put in news and information about it for those also interested in it. ZenithXI is a private Final Fantasy XI server, up and coming. It is going to be held in the Classic 75 era, but it will be starting in the 50 era cap first, with no expansions. That means no Zillart either. And it will have, basically, it's going to be like a combination of Eden and its hardcore classic style rules, while having the quality of life and basically necessary gameplay balance changes, at least to an extent, like Horizon did. ZenithXI's goal is to basically do exactly like Horizon. They want to go past the Wings of the Goddess era to Abyssia, Adulan, and beyond, while converting the level 80, 85, 99, and eventually 119 eye level stuff to the 75 era to try to maintain the sense of community and teamwork Final Fantasy XI was known for before Abyssia happened. So very similar to what Horizon is doing, only that ZenithXI is going to try to avoid a lot of the mistakes that Horizon has did, particularly with certain bugs, exploits, overwhelming use of custom content, and basically some pretty bad class balancing that Horizon has been known for. ZenithXI is going to avoid all that and only make meaningful, necessary changes for classes that need it, such as some small changes that Paladin needs, and some pretty large changes that Thief needs, since Thief, during most of Classic era, was not treated well. For today's tech demo, basically what this is that Sargonis, one of the developers of ZenithXI, is showing to us the launcher, as well as the ZenithXI exclusive enhanced textures, shaders, and visuals that it has. And I will comment on it as I play this video. Of course, I'll be skipping ahead some parts since it's quite a long video that he created, and I'll give my thoughts on it. So first off, I'll give my thoughts on the launcher. Let's go ahead and play.
All right. If you want to join the video, you'll see what I'm showing you.
It's just the screen still minimized, so nothing viewable yet.
I will, of course, skip ahead of some things just to basically make it quicker. So let's go with this here.
Plugin demo install, but I would suggest add-ons here. A little description of kind of what they do, and links to the original authors, and that turns it on.
So right off the bat, again, I have played on Horizon, so I do see the differences here. Previously, beforehand, the launcher was similar to Horizon's, And this made a lot of Horizon fans kind of upset. So they went ahead and made a lot of direct changes to it because honestly they didn't want it to be similar to Horizon. They wanted to make their own thing. And they did. They did it successfully. It looks really good. It looks serious. I do like the choice of their background here with the characters and the large moon there. It does show a Zenith look to it. The presentation is nice. I like it. It looks like it has a dark mode and a light mode that you can select in the bottom left. It also looks like it has what appears to be a volume slider for it. So my guess is they're going to add a music theme to it. Not sure what it would be yet. The add-ons and plugins search is nice. Obviously, it comes pre-built with some add-ons and plugins. I believe Sarg also went and explained that there will be some banned add-ons and plugins that could help with cheating, similar to the rules that Horizon has. Basically, no plugins or add-ons that could help you cheat in the game. If you're caught using them, obviously it's a ban. But what I also like is that he provides a direct access buttons to the add-ons and plugins folder. That's a good touch. It'll help those that are honestly new with FFXI and they want to add their own add-ons and plugins to be able to just go directly to where it is and thus place in what they want or need. Yeah, good touch here. This makes it much easier for the new Final Fantasy XI player or casual player who isn't so technically minded to be able to just go in and get all this done. That's the problem with a lot of the private servers lately. You have to jump through a lot of hoops and BS with a lot of things to get the game running. A launcher like this that just does it all for you, okay, that's the best way to do things. You download the launcher, you let it install the game, toggle on and off the plugins you want, there you go, you're done.
Enough. So super. You are click on one of these two buttons up here, add-ons and plugins, which will open up the directory to the right folder where you need to put the add-on into. So.
I definitely like that search function because it'll make finding a specific plugin much easier, or lack thereof of a plugin. So if it's not there, then you can add it yourself. Okay, here he goes to explain some of the settings.
You can select a new one and install the game again into that new directory. So your sound options, simply just click little check boxes and scroll bars, so all super simple. Under graphics, all your settings are here for game resolution, background resolution, your menu resolution, if you play windowed or not, compression, all that fun stuff here. Gamepad, so these are some quick settings where you can click and turn on and off certain settings with the gamepad. If you're going in depth of configuration on the gamepad, you can click on this button here. What it'll do is open up the standard Final Fantasy controller editor, and then you just edit like you would normally do if you were playing retail, and then saved in. Under advanced graphics currently, you'll be able to allocate a specific amount of VRAM to the game. So if you have a more powerful graphic card, you can increase this number.
Now, this is something I wish Horizon had. Again, these guys are thinking ahead, and honestly, they are one-upping Horizon on quite a lot of things. So, at the start, yeah, these are well laid out settings, and he did mention that he will be adding the texture pack, a 4X and 8X version to these settings for you to be able to toggle on and off. You don't have to use the ZenithXI enhanced graphics if you don't want. You can use Ashen Bubs or that Final Fantasy XI HD textures. Apologies, I forgot who the author of it was. I mean, I know that she had a very long history when making that, and you could use either one if you want. If you prefer either of those over using ZenithXI's enhanced visuals, just will say though that Ashen Bubs does make the game look too cartoony, while the HD FFXI textures from that one other author tends to replace a lot of the textures. The thing about ZenithXI enhanced textures is it is enhancing what is already there while trying to keep the look and feel of Final Fantasy XI to try to keep it authentic while also bringing it more to modern standards. But you are free to use whatever you like. Now, what I like also here that I wish Horizon had, okay, is the advanced rendering settings, allowing you to set how you want these all done, particularly the VRAM. Because you see, for the VRAM, normally you have to go into an ini or a config file to set that manually. Here, you can just set it right as you want. Obviously, I have a GTX 4090, so what I'm probably going to do is likely set about maybe 12 gigs or so worth of VRAM for this screen here, you know, once the game launches, because I'm definitely going to run it at the maximum resolution for the enhanced texture mods that Sarg has created for this server. I'll also likely run it at complete 4K with 4K background. But again, I'm going to have to test all this when the beta comes out to see what settings are best, since I want to make sure I maintain 60 frames per second at all times, even in Dynamis, which I was able to do easily on Horizon with the Ashen Bubs pack at 4K resolution. But again, I have an extremely beefy processor, so it was a 13900 KS. It was able to handle 60 frames per second static locked consistently in Dynamis no matter what. So I'm hoping for the same results here, but with these enhanced textures. So good on them on this. I'll definitely try that fast video memory access if I think it's necessary, but we'll see. Moving on.
If there's updates for the game, it'll automatically detect if there's an update when you turn the game on, and then it'll prompt you to do an update, and it does that by this play button changes to update. Back here, option obviously.
Okay, so you got the same usuals here: uninstall game, game updates, but the registry repair, now that's a big one. So for quite a few private server players, they tend to play like multiple different servers of Final Fantasy XI, or heck, they might have deleted one and want to play another one. All right, but then things get screwy or something gets in the way, and that's because the registry, all right, every time you install any kind of version of Final Fantasy XI, be it a private server or retail, it screws with the registry. Okay, making new additions and such, and even if you want to install it, those registry, that code to the registry, those entries to the registry are still there, and then you have to go through the pains of manually removing it or trying to use some tool. ZenithXI, okay, has this very useful function to where you just hit that and it's just gonna fix all those registry problems. So that way you can just go ahead and install the game and have an easy time with it. That is good, okay, especially for those that are just new to Final Fantasy XI or just have no idea how to do any of this themselves. They could just go in, and if they were playing on Cat's Eye, Eden, Horizon, and they just don't want to anymore, something is getting in the way, or anything like that, by hitting that button, it'll fix all that, allowing you to go ahead and install ZenithXI, making it very easy. I like that. That is good. Moving on. Okay, so the Mog House, which has a lot of functions, it's basically directly tied to the ZenithXI website, but you can also access it from your launcher here. The news, about, server features, rules, resources, all that stuff. Now, what I also like about this, and this is on the website as well, is that they provide a market board, as well as a way to see online players, currently online, looking for party, basically an advanced party tracker that ties directly in game. So if you were to look for group in game, it'll pop up on here too. But what's nice about it is it also provides other options and information showing what job or what classes you could potentially be looking for party on as well. I'll explain more on that later. So he hasn't populated the market board yet. Apparently he had to do a clear of the auction house due to testing. But with the market board, you're able to search for any item on it. You can do a price range based on previous sales. The usual sorts, show single items, show stacks, and all that. It'll also show bar graphs and such of the latest sale trends of the market board, so you have a better idea of what's going on with the current buy and sells of the products. It's also got all the usual functions to search for things by level, and things like that. Really good, robust market board, provides you a lot of information. I'm sure crafters who love making gil every day are going to love this. Let's assume
and they
here.
are is Pandora. So you can sell here as the server progresses and more people join, right? You don't want a little card like this for every person because there's going to take up a lot of space. So if you click on this button here, it'll go to like a data grid look. So you can see all the people listed here. It tells you how many active players on the server, highest level, most popular job right now, and what is the busiest zone currently, which is Southern Sandora, because one person's in there, which is me. You can do your searches up here, so you can search all people that are red mage.
So the usual searches here. Obviously, highest level is going to be kind of a redundant, since eventually people are going to be 75. It's always going to show 75 as the highest level at that point. Unless, of course, it's a Echo Warrior Day and everybody's just suddenly, but that's a rare chance of seeing that number drop happening even from that. Busiest zone is useful because if you're like on your phone or tablet, or you have your laptop with you, and you're checking to see if maybe King Behemoth, Fafnir, or Adamantoise is about to spawn, busiest zone is helpful because it's going to show you which zone is busiest with the most people right now. And if it happens to be Behemoth's Dominion, then you know that Behemoth is being camped right now because its spawning is probably imminent. So that's a useful tool for that. But it's also useful to basically check to see who's online right now, how many parties are going, and so forth, or to look up other players. It's very, very useful for that. Okay, good search function. Let's see what else he's done.
Like in the game, you have different options of what you're searching for, so you can put that in there as well. out of the people looking for group, you can see again most common, average level, all that fun stuff. You can do searches.
So what I like about this is that basically, with the most wanted job, when players are seeking, or party creators are seeking, okay, they can use this tool to put up what they're looking for, and that all comes together. So honestly, the most wanted job likely is going to either be Bard, Red Mage, or White Mage almost at all times. But by looking through this, when you're about to log in, you can kind of see and expect, what people are really looking for the most right now on the server. So that way you'll know when to put your anonymous on if you don't want to be bothered on your Bard, like I often have to do.
Based on jobs, nations, levels, what I can see, all the equipment.
So this is nice, similar to what Horizon has. It will show your characters and such. It's looking like you could have more than 3 characters. So I'm wondering about that, if ZenithXI is going to allow more than 3. I believe Horizon has a hard cap of 3 because I think they did that on purpose to prevent players from being able to just have too many alts to carry stuff with, but most importantly to put up more and more things on the auction house for sale, because I know that quite a few players would use their alts or mules to transfer items to that they want to put up on sale if they run out of space on the auction house. ZenithXI should have less of a problem of that, because they, for the sound of it, from what I saw, they are tripling the amount of AH listing, no, not tripling, doubling the amount of AH listings that you can do compared to Horizon. And of course 6 times more than Eden, since I believe Eden still has the 1-page 7 items only AH listing rule in effect, or hard rule in effect. I mean, you can't really get around it unless you use mules. So much easier to list items up, less likely for you to throw away crystals that you don't want just because they're only maybe 200 or 300 gil a stack. But yeah, makes me wonder what the character creation cap they're going to put up for ZenithXI will be, but it's looking like it's 4 right now, possibly 6. Nothing wrong with that, really. Again, more mules is nice to have. It is going to be more data on the server, though. So, same as usual. It's got equipment tracker, job tracker. I'm not sure if Horizon lists your combat and magic skills, though, or crafting, for that matter. Now, what I really like is the fame tracker. I don't think Horizon had that. Tracks your jobs, your skills, and your caps for them, depending on the class. So it keeps track of all your skills and such, and if you switch jobs, it's going to show them differently based on the skills that they have. So obviously for evasion, red mages are higher on that, but if you got like a red mage at like 50 and you capped its evasion, then you switch to white mage, it's going to show the differences of the white mage and what it's capped at. So that's a useful tool right there to keep track of your combat and magic skills. Okay, good stuff. But what I really like is the fame tracker. Now, usually to track your fame, you'd have to go to one of those bards and ask them what your fame is. Okay, and then it's gonna give you like information that, hey, the blah blah blah, this, okay, you're this and that, and then you gotta look it up online to say, okay, that's what it means, that's what my fame level is at right now. With this tracker, it just tells you right off. So that's very convenient. That's something I wish Horizon had. Okay, that's honestly really good. And then you got your delivery box storage. It shows what you have in your delivery box, what you have in your storage. Now, the storage is a nice feature. Let's take a look.
This is also something very useful. Here's all of your different storage options. So all your wardrobes, your sack, your satchel. If I click into one of these, I can see exactly what's in my storage. So I have some fire crystals and some other stuff. If I clicked on, say, the fire crystal, it pops up here where you can see the icon, what slot number it's in, quantities, and a description if it was available. You have your end game, you have all these wardrobes full, and you're like, where the hell did I put my lightning crystals? You can just start typing lightning.
Now that I like. Okay, I am massive on inventory. I will get as much inventory space as I can because I like to store a lot of my stuff. I like to store quest items that I will get back to later eventually. You know, I play many classes because I like to be versatile, especially for my link shells, whichever one I joined. Because back in Horizon, I was actually the #1 job switcher of my link shell at the time. I was a red mage, I was a black mage, I was a white mage, I was a bard, I was a paladin, I was a dark knight, I was a beastmaster. Okay, I had all those jobs at 75. I had them all extremely well geared, and my link shell, as soon as I log in and get ready for the day's events, I would often ask my link shell, what do you need me to be at the time? So I would often hope to be paladin. They knew I was a active and paladin main, but obviously since bards are so rare and rarely anybody wanted to play them, and they knew I was extremely good at any job that I play at, they would often have me go in as bard, as red mage, as whatever is needed. And sometimes I would go in as paladin, despite my paladin was well geared too, and I was going for Aegis, and they knew it. But being able to search for things if necessary, and having, I think the server's going to have 3 wardrobes. Didn't Horizon only had like 2? But having a search function, especially to look for items and such, and things I made it thrown into storage to store for later, especially for a job that I'm leveling, that is awesome. And very much needed feature. And it even tells you right there, where is that? It's in the main inventory. It tells you where it is, so you can go back in game and pull it out from where it is. It makes it very nice to look for things, and I really appreciate that feature. Then it's got the usual auction house listing showing you what you have in your auction house and in your bazaar. So those are nice functions too. Now in this portion, he shows off the graphics. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Alright, so this is your Mog House. Right off the bat you can see things are much sharper and clearer. Even the interiors of buildings have been...
So I like this attention to detail, especially with the wood posts here and the grain on it. If you notice the walls, they seem like a tiny bit dipillated, like actual walls would be. Okay, I like that little attention to detail. Okay, the walls look like it's lived in. So this is actually very nice. This makes it feel and look more like a home instead of just some hole in the wall with bland one-color textures. So this is some good work here
as well.
The compression doesn't do justice though.
When he was recording this, he was also streaming it, and that's why he was mentioning compression. Discord streaming isn't the most viable. he probably should have showed this to us initially on Twitch. But thankfully he was recording it in what looks to be 4K on OBS.
Discord compression.
Oh, is it pretty bad, the compression?
Yep.
I've also noticed the Red Mage here. Yes, he also is touching up on all the armors, weapons, and such as well. The Red Mage armor looks like a more weathered look, like what it would look like when you're going around adventuring. To be honest, Red Mages tend to be neat freaks. So, in my opinion, I think he should maybe clean the dirt and such off of it more. Make it more clean and bring that black out, in my honest opinion. Since, again, I play Red Mage as well, and I'm really good at it. But Red Mages, classically and lore-wise, especially in 11 and 14, they like to keep clean. So a Red Mage wouldn't have this dirt and such everywhere, like they've been through the beach or some dirty area or something. They would always keep themselves clean and polished. But I do like the higher definition look, how we added ripples to the leather pants and such. It looks more authentic for how leather and cloth should be looking. Let's go up ahead.
Floors, the walls, everything's been redone. Hopefully it's not too grainy. But this definitely looks like a very different game.
So right off the bat, I like how he added some better textures to the ground as such. I think he even bumped it up a little bit with the whole 3D thing he was going for. The walls look nice. I noticed that back wall there, though, it's still a bit kind of flat. I'm hoping that he'll bring that out more. Basically the wall behind the barrel there. But I'm not sure if he intended that or if he's just going to come back and do a pass on that later. I'm hoping he'll bring that out a bit more, though. The lighting is also nice. I noticed some shadow detail near the walls there. This feels like it's midday right now, so I'm sure at night it's going to have a bit more shadow detail and you're going to see lights and such as well. But I did like what he did with the ground here. It does look vastly different. I also noticed that in the fountain the water was more coming through. It seemed to have more detail on it as well. So I do like this. I just hope he brings those particular walls out a bit more and he does a texture pass on that. Let's go ahead and jump ahead. Okay, so here he's showing off the iconic Koenig or Kaiser armor since many of us paladins who are fortunate enough to have their LSs grant us this armor, which, again, this armor is basically a trusted privilege. Link Shells would really only give their paladins this if they trust their paladins, and their paladins are highly active enough to at least be there 95% of the time for their Link Shells to do their endgame stuff. But this is basically this armor set is basically a mark of honor for those in extreme high-end LSs. Thankfully, ZenithXI is doing the KSNM pop system for the H&Ms, which I wish Horizon had, because if Horizon had it, it would avoid a lot of the drama and such it's got based around it right now, especially with the hosts and GMs of the server apparently giving advantages to their link shells for easier claim against link shells that does not have any of the Horizon GMs or admins in it. That's been a problem on Horizon. I believe it's still ongoing. But thanks to the KSNM trigger system, if you can't get any claims from rival link shells, you can still trigger the H&Ms yourself and hopefully get a King's or what was it? Yeah, a King's trigger for the high quality versions, and thus eventually, if you're a paladin and you happen to be in a link shell that just can't seem to get those claims, eventually get yourself this beautiful armor set. But I like how he touched it up. See that he gave more of a direct decorative look to the legs and all the other parts. I see plate rivets in the body piece. That's good. That's honestly makes it authentic. That's what plate armor is supposed to look like. It's supposed to have rivets to hold it in place. I like the extra detail to all the leather bits that he added as well, particularly the red bits. I've also noticed that he touched up Excalibur, put a blue sheen onto it, and it looks like a floral pattern to the hilt. I like that. That is good. I wish he could have showed off Aegis on this, since that's the Paladin mark of mastery, is getting an Aegis. And depending on how they balance Paladin and Ninja for ZenithXI, you're either tanking or you're not if you have an Aegis. But generally, I do like what he changed to this here. The sunglasses, I believe Sarg did that on my own kind of input, since the sunglasses in the Kaiser armor, along with Excalibur and Aegis, is the equipment that I want to go for. That is my basic goal for ZenithXI that I once had for Horizon. And that's just as generally what I want to go for. Of course, I'll be the blonde version of the Hume. I'm still hoping ZenithXI puts in like a third or fourth hair color option like Horizon did. And I'm hoping for this particular Hume hairstyle, they'll put in a platinum or white. But I don't know, we'll see. Again, that's up to Lance and the other developers. And I believe Sarg is responsible for that part.
It looks very promising.
Makes me want to see more of the game.
We're going to walk through a few of some of the zones that people highlighted, and whatever, if we have some extra time, we can go.
Now, I believe he hasn't touched up the NPCs yet with the same models as the player characters. I did see what Sarg did to Elvain's, and they got the same touch-up treatment as well. You probably noticed on the Hume too that his face looked clearer, like he's got a better skincare routine. Larger lips though, a little odd on that. Again, this is the model I'll be using myself, so I've been paying attention to it. I'm hoping Sarg will give the same treatment to the NPCs as well. Otherwise it's going to look a little weird if the NPCs don't get the full ZenithXI enhancement treatment touch-up, but all the player characters do. He's probably going to have to do the unique models as well, like Volkner, Karst, Zeed, people like that. The Princess, the King, they're all going to need ZenithXI enhanced touch-ups as well. What I also like here is the sun lighting the clouds and atmosphere effects. That's also part of the ZenithXI enhanced experience, and I do like that.
Through some other ones as well. Even like your auction house, I don't know if you noticed the light reflections, glare from the sun. Even the grain, wood grain. Looks like, I think the sun's going down, which is good, because then you'll be able to see kind of what the lamps look like at night.
Fortunately, you skipped ahead before the lamps could come up, but I have seen them before in the previous tech demo, and it looked really good with the lighting and the shadow casting and all that. This is what I honestly expect for the ground and shadows to look like when the sun is setting. This actually looks very, very nice, and I do like this. Let's go ahead and skip ahead. Okay, here he shows off Norg. Right away you can see a difference. The lighting is different.
Pause for a little bit.
He's got this wood grain going on here. The walls look a bit bumpy with the 3D textures on it. I like that. He added some texture detail to the pillars and such, like he did with a lot of other things. Overall, this looks good. I just hope he gives... No, I'm sure he's going to give the same treatment to the... Hold on. Looks like he's already started to do it. Okay. So, that human NPC has the updated facial textures and all that. It looks like he hasn't given his armor the detail yet, but it does look like it's been upscaled with higher resolution and such. So it looks good. We'll see if he adds additional textures and such to it, since I believe that is an armor set that actual players can use as well. But I do like what he keeps doing to the wood grain, the textures on it, and the detail and all that. It looks very different from original Final Fantasy XI. Okay, let's see where we went to next. Okay, Gustaberg. Now, I always have a hard time deciding between Bastoke and Sandoria. Bastoke was where I started at a long time ago when Final Fantasy XI first came out for us globally. And since I always play human in my fantasy games, I started in Bastoke because that was where the Humes came from, and I figured, okay, maybe I'll start there. Normally, though, I'm the type of person that prefers to start in an area that has large green fields to it. You know, wide, expansive green fields. So you'd think I'd start in Windurst, but I believe the main reason why I started in Bastoke was because I had a friend at the time who had the game 2 weeks prior to me, because I didn't start exactly on launch. I started about 2 weeks later because I needed a new computer and I had to go and buy one just to play Final Fantasy XI. And a friend of mine basically told me, don't start in Windurst. It is hard to get around. It's confusing. And I saw it, and I saw that it had the green plains that I liked starting in. He told me that it's just nothing but trouble there. It is very hard to start in. Don't start there. So I went to Bastoke, and Bastoke is basically where I always started at ever since. It is the most familiar to me. I may start there again, but Sandoria is a place of knights, and I generally play for my mains knight characters, so Paladin and Dark Knight. I might change my mind and actually do Sandoria this time, but I don't know. We'll see. But Bastoke has always been my initial home. It's what I'm most comfortable with, and I like the changes I've seen with it so far, what he did to it. Though there's not much to see in Bastoke, because, again, it's all dry deadlands. I do like the ground textures. I'm hoping he might improve it a little bit, give it a little bit more detail. Perhaps maybe even adding some more shrub objects and rocks around. But I'm guessing that might be very hard to do. Maybe even some cacti, you know, because I think cacti would exist in places like this.
That you wanted to see? Whoever requested that?
Now, I know he asked for that, but what is there to really look at other than maybe the tombstone or the lighthouses? Okay, where did he go to next? Alright, Kitty Paradise. So, this looks good. I think he may need to touch up on the wood planks here more, though. It looks like he just high definitioned it, but he didn't add the same detail he did to the others. So I think he should bring that out a bit more. The wood counter looks nice. I like that high definition. I think it needs a bit of a touch up too, though, as well. Now, what's caught my eye is the walls and how he's added some 3D bump texturing to the walls here.
But it doesn't.
The wood posts got some detail as well. The ground textures look good. I like that. I can't see if the Mithra got the treatment yet. Doesn't look like it. Might have did it only for the Humes, only for now. But he's going to be giving it to all the races. So I like that lighting there. It gives that nice subtle lighting in the dark. Obviously, depending on how you set your shader, because the game is going to have a recommended shader that the author will give a link to, and but he already has the preset already put in. You just have to switch to that shader and the preset will hit. But you can likely adjust all this and more with what he has in mind based on your preferences. But the default right now with what he has looks pretty good. I might make some changes myself, maybe even utilize some fake HDR and such to see what I can get out of it, similar to what I did to Dragon Quest X. But overall, this looks good. Now, right, I'm going backwards. So here we have the jungle.
Added much more green, leafy textures to it.
Now, the lights up there, I'm hoping he can bring them out a bit more. Okay, so they're like showing some light, at least on the ground around it. I mean, if he can manage to do that, that'd probably look awesome. But again, very old game. It's running on what, DirectX 8? So we'll see if he can actually do that or not.
On the floor and stuff, and on the walls.
Now, me personally, for nighttime, I would probably run the reshade to be a little darker. Again, I'll probably try using the fake HDR to make it a bit darker, but not too dark to where I can't see things. Because, you know, I still got to navigate. This is an MMO after all, not a single player RPG. I cannot blind myself, which would be a detriment to my party members. So I'm probably going to tweak it around myself a bit for my own viewing. But the preset so far looks pretty good.
So here it doesn't look too bad. But when you get into caves, I don't know if it gets a little excessive or if it's just me.
Could you stand still for a sec? It's hard to see.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
So I really like what he did to the walls, because originally a lot of the walls are just dirt, which does not make sense in a massive, ancient, old, wild jungle like this. Jungles like these, you would see vines and plants and foliage all over the walls, all on much of the rocks. You'd see vines and such, and so it makes sense what he did here. This is okay. The walls wouldn't be just dirt; it'd be covered in vines, foliage, grass, all that stuff. So this makes a lot of sense, and it makes it look a lot better. I also noticed he did it to the walls here too, inside these small little caves. That's actually nice. That does make a lot of sense. Okay, grass and plant life doesn't just stop at, you know, the dirt walls just for no reason. It is going to grow on top of it if it can. Okay, grass and again plant life is going to grow wherever it can go to, no matter what. So this all makes sense. I like this. This is good. Now, he made a comment here about the mobs. The mobs have been HD'd up. Okay, but he hasn't given them like the special detail treatment because he wants to keep this looking like Final Fantasy XI like we know and love, wants it to be nostalgic. But he is going to add special and new details and such, giving the same treatment like he does to the character's armor and such, to special mobs such as Behemoth or Juggernaut or like Bahamut. You know, basically like Notorious Monsters, H&Ms, you know, very iconic enemies. He's going to give the special details and treatment to. Okay, based on their fit. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does to them. We're going to skip ahead here to Sita. So kind of the same treatment he did with the jungle. I do like the lights coming out of the crystals there. It gives it a more mystical look. I mean, if he could do that, he could probably do more to the lighthouses in the jungle.
So if you notice, like, look at that massive tree in the background. From this distance, it looks three-dimensional.
A lot of people love this zone for some reason. I mean, I guess I can kind of get it. The thing is, back then, on old retail Final Fantasy XI, when, again, I had very little MMO experience, and I was extremely impatient. I was in Zeta for like 4 to 6 hours a day, just farming cuttings to grow elemental ores, or to sell the cuttings to try to make some gil in order to afford Dynamis currency and all the other stuff I needed. But I had an extremely hard time back then, so I kind of just got sick of Zeta at that point. It was a very brutal time for me because of my inexperience. Now, my hope is they're going to add a toggle for the orchestrated tracks, similar to what Horizon uses for the music, as well as adding whatever custom tracks they feel like for the places that don't have music. Of course, again, I want it to be a toggle. I'm not sure if Horizon even had a toggle for the music. Ideally, what I would like is if they would have a toggle for every single track. You know, put in like a music tab into the launcher and have a toggle for every single track to be original or orchestrated, or heck, even a custom track that you could just toggle as you please depending on your preferences. Because the orchestrated solo battle music, I don't like it. Reason being, it starts up slow and it's kind of a low pace, low tone to it. So if they're going to add orchestrated, I hope they have a toggle for it. But for the solo battle music, I definitely keep it to the original. So Zeta looks good. I like what he did with the trees and the 3D bump mapping here. Okay, I have no complaints. I noticed he gave a more mystical glow to the water, and did it had water bubbles coming up before in the original? I don't remember. I think it had. Did it? Okay, that looks good. I like that. Ah, this place. Beastmaster's Paradise.
Well, this is way beyond Shadow Lord.
He made that comment because the server's going to start at 50. We're probably not going to see COP, even though the areas are there, until they're ready to release it. It probably could be an entire year before they put out the COP expansion for Zenith. I'm not sure how they're going to go about it. It could be a year, could be 6 months, don't know. Again, the server's going to start at 50 with no expansions, and it's going to go along in a certain cycle to allow players, especially casual players, to get caught up, get ready, you know, things like that. And again, I'm not sure what their aim with that is. Personally, I like it. I'm hoping that COP will at least come out a year after launch, but we'll see. At the very least, it'll give me plenty of time to prepare and be ready for Dynamis and such, since I will be trying to go for Aegis and Excalibur again, since I couldn't do it on Horizon for certain reasons.
Yeah, I did a bunch of them past up to COP, I think.
Plus, I think the reason why they're doing it is because they want to have time to be able to make sure that the content coming from the expansions and all the updates and such that goes along, that they can go into it, they can fix any issues, fix any bugs, fix any potential possible exploits, like such as, you know, guild printing and sort of duping and all that. Basically, a lot of the mistakes that other servers have made, they want to make sure that that doesn't happen with Zenith, and be able, thus giving them time to thoroughly test things and put it out bit by bit, instead of just starting at COP and now you got people finding all this bugs or exploits and such, and then they take advantage of it, and then it causes a huge problem. Mistakes like that, they want to avoid that. But this looks good, no complaints here. I like what he did to the bushes and trees, gave him some extra depth to them. But I think he's having a bit of a hard time with the ground textures here. He's fixing those. But I also like
Not a lot of lighting.
the light he did with
I
the
guess we'll come
warp
back here.
tunnels there.
Well, might as well take a look because Joanna has a lot of cool kind of textures, but Joanna came out pretty good.
You got the roof part right. Now you're just
Oh.
missing the end.
Yeah.
Well, the gardens look pretty good. No complaints here. I think he's gonna have to touch up on the ground lighting for that lamppost, though. Sun's coming up. That could be an influence there, but I don't know. We'll see what he does for the end product. Now, many of you's favorite zone. Heck, even a retailer's still coming up here in a different dimension.
I like that.
Oh wow, that's
architecture. Looks good.
yeah, that's looking really clean.
That, but you know, just make it nicer, just more enjoyable. So like, almost like sand.
Since a lot of us will be meriting up here anyway, or hunting god triggers.
With some kind of cracks, but amplify them a bit.
So this is nice because now it looks like an actual more of an actual ruin, or an ancient ruin. He brought up the cracks on the ground that most of you probably couldn't even see or didn't even know was there. He brought them up. Now they're visible. But these cracks and all that, it brings a more ruined, ancient look to it. And I like that.
Give it more of that kind of.
He's also got some decent lighting going on with the side cubbies there. I know some of you still screw up on walking a straight line here, thus you get aggroed.
I feel like there's more vegetation as well, no?
Yes, there's more vegetation.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It looks like he added more foliage and moss and such to the walls, which honestly, it makes sense. Even though this place is extremely high up in the sky, there were gardens and grass around. So obviously, thousands and thousands and thousands of years over time, grass seeds and plants and such will spread around due to the wind, and it's going to land on these walls and start to create vines and an ecosystem onto the walls growing over them. That makes a lot of sense. You also notice you added some moss and such to the ground as well. This looks good. This is honestly how it should look like. He did a good job here. I like it. Looks like he brought out more of the purple and some of the lighting here as well.
Releasing.
Yeah, we don't. Not at this time. When
Okay.
When we do
No worries.
give a window, you know, we don't want to disappoint you guys. So
What he was talking about there is a release window. Someone basically asked this question again. I'm guessing they're getting this question asked every day. Base pretty much, they are not giving out a window until they are absolutely 100% sure it's almost ready to be released. My guess is it's probably going to be another 5 months. Again, don't quote me on that. I am not one of their developers. I am just a community, basically kind of a community sponsor, advocating for them and basically supporting them from behind, from like the shadows, using with my own community. But as they clearly stated, if more developers join their team to help things along, they can get this to us quicker. And honestly, I'm very excited for it. I'm trying to square a lot of things with my life away before this comes out, so I'd be able to put in at least 50 or so hours a week into it myself. Kind of hard, gonna be still kind of hard to do between work and my daily workouts. But They're going to give a release window when it is near completion. I'm hoping they'll start the beta test within at least 5 months or so, because I really want to play this too. So the dunes, it's hard to.
So the goal here, right, is
it's hard to put detail in the sand, but yeah, listen to this.
enhancing so that it just looks really good and clean. But you can tell that, yeah, it's been enhanced, right? But if you put the two games together, it's like, wow, it's completely different. Like it's much bigger effect. But when you're playing the game, you're like, oh, you're familiar. You still have that nostalgia. So that was kind of the feel and goal we were going for. So like,
as I was mentioned earlier, pretty much he wants to enhance things, but still make it look recognizable. Something that Ashen Bubs and that other that HD texture pack kind of failed to do, because it made a lot of changes. With this, he just enhanced it while keeping its original aesthetic.
like dunes, we added a little more of these like waves in the sand. I don't know if you can kind of see it, rather than just white. And,
Yeah.
And then the trees.
Oh, I like that.
Trees are enhanced.
I like the palm trees. They look good. Coming from me, who is used to living near coastal beach areas, this isn't bad. Honestly, they do look good. They could maybe use a little bit more detail, but overall, I like what I see here.
Gonna be a luxury hotspot now.
Let's go back a bit here.
The water. That's good.
Okay, the water looks noticeably better. It's got that whole wave ripple effect to it. I do see a difference.
The waves coming in.
Oh, that's nice.
I like that a lot. That looks really, really good. I hope he does that to the other beaches as well. Now, Sidori, yep, he put the same treatment here, touched up the doors. How's the trees look?
Look at the tree.
Oh yeah.
So you can see the actual bark and vines kind of going up the tree.
How long have you been working on this, dude?
A lot of hours.
Yeah.
He's literally been working on this 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, by himself. So, yes, this is a massive amount of work for one person. Trust me.
I can see.
I was actually developing my own server.
In fact, the girl who did the Final Fantasy XI HD texture mod, okay, I think she spent like 5 entire years doing that. I noticed that she didn't do it like 8 hours a day, like what Sark did with his own pack, but it's a lot of work for one person.
Solo for quite some time before I joined Zenith, and then I just brought over everything to this side, so it expedited
That's awesome.
things.
I really like the ground textures here. This is really nice. Okay, now everyone's favorite hell trap.
Oh, spoopy.
This looks good.
Detail on the walls.
I like this. Yes, the wall details look good. This is what a ruin from, what was it in the Crystal War? 20 years ago? A ruin from that time should look like. I honestly can't wait to see what he does for the Wings version of Garliage, where it wasn't destroyed or fell to ruin. I noticed that he put a lot of detail to the infamous door here that everyone cries out to please help open, that I had to go through many times myself before, since again I played multiple classes, so I had to get help finding my AF many times. But I like the nice touch here. This is good. Here we got the inside of the tree.
We don't have to update the graphics on the spiders.
Please update those graphics on the spiders. I'm a friend of mine that loves spiders.
And just add more skitter sound effects.
Looks clean.
I really hope he touches up the Morbles. They're one of my favorite mobs because they're a pain in the ass. But yeah, I hope he gives them treatment, because they are a iconic Final Fantasy enemy. I believe the Morbles and Malboros deserve that treatment. Skipping ahead.
Oh, go to name.
The water looks good. I also like what he did with the ground textures here. Yeah, that's what it should look like for, well, how many trees in the real world do we have that's this massive with a whole ecosystem in it? Not really. But this looks good. I like it. Perhaps maybe he could give a bit of a splash effect to the little waterfall there and the other waterfalls in the tree. That's just my thoughts. Now, I request this place a lot because, again, even though
161, but I did what
the Bailey's is a not as traversed area, really. You only really come here for, honestly, one of four things. You're either here to hunt coffers, you're here for the Dark Spark, you might be here for some sort of AF quest, or you're here for the Shadow Lord. That's generally it. Maybe there was one other thing I've forgotten. But, not much he has to put detail into for here, too. I like what he did with the walls.
This place is going to be such a cancer.
Me, personally, I would make it dark, the whole area darker. Again, that's going to be up to the shader and how I customize it, really.
Especially at level 50.
I give it more of like a crystal stonish effect.
Yeah, I like it. Very cool. Epic.
Imagine going through this at level 50.
Yeah, the floors and the walls don't look all washed out. They actually have like a really clean marble texture. That's cool.
He's right. It does look good.
Yeah, the torches by the door looked really nice.
I thought this was cool because I actually never noticed this on the floor until I was playing with it. It's a giant, like, orc symbol.
Did you add what?
Oh, sorry, you're cutting out.
I like what he did to the throne room as well. This does look good. He made the doors look a bit more menacing as well. I do like that. Now we're here at the glacier. Now, first thing I noticed is he made the blizzard more intense, giving it more of a snowblind effect. Snow on the trees as well. It does look good.
Were there always brown tints in like the stone wall, or?
That I don't remember.
Me either, but it looks good if there wasn't.
I really like what he did with the trees. Again, it looks good. It's what it should look like with a blowing blizzard. Again, those are evergreens, or should be evergreens, and that's what they should look like. I do like what he did with the walls and the snow here.
But I made this snow more snowy. I don't remember even looking at that one.
Here's the bay. I do like the wood here. I did like the ground texture seen previously as well. Overall, I think this looks
like
pretty
the wood
good.
grain. It's very subtle, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah, a lot of times it was very blurred. So
Right.
you knew it was wood, right?
So it looks good there. Now we got Windurst. And right off the bat, you can see the clear changes.
So the greenery and Windurst with all the trees came out really nice. I love Windurst, it's just way too big to be a starting
Oh, this
town.
is cute.
Aha! Okay, I never noticed that with the, Huh. I have a... That is a very popular rug design. I actually have a rug that is exactly like that. I'm not sure if that was originally there, it just was so blurred you couldn't really tell the difference, or he added that to it. Windurst is not a place people will go to unless they absolutely need to, or for Dynamis. But this looks good. This looks really good.
This is like Windurst propaganda, trying to convince people to start Windy.
Yeah.
Not many people start Windy.
You gotta use the warp towers, man. That's
Warp Terrors help people to start Windy.
the secret.
True. True.
But yeah, I imagined Windhurst was gonna look better because you have like more water, more wood.
Yeah, it's a lot more you can do with it.
Yeah, like if you look at the
Trees look good. I like the water.
banner right above where you're about to pass now, right? Like you
Textures look good too. Really wonder how this is going to look when I run it with 4K settings and everything else.
can see it really pops out more with the new textures.
Yeah. Even the auction house, like the stone on the walls, the
Right.
shutters, the lamps.
That looks good. That looks good, not gonna lie. And I can notice from the shutters that they aren't identical either. They all have some slight difference and variations to them, which makes it more realistic. Also notice he detailed the writing on those boards there, so they're not like a blurred mess of ink or blob writing. He even touched up the vases over there. This looks good. Really like the ground texture detail. It looks nice. It's basically dirt. Made it look like it's supposed to be dirt. This looks good.
Oh yeah, the detail on the stone. Yeah. And the banner. The banner looks so good. Or whatever whatever you call it. Looks very good.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I do like that blue glow. He really brought it out.
Also very nice. Were the lights worked on?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I notice he put more attention to the lights here than any of the other places. And that looks very, very good. I hope he gives that kind of detail to all the other lights I've seen so far through this.
All the lights have been redone, especially with the shaders at night. They look really nice.
The basement should look good.
Yeah.
So are you running Reshade, or is it a...
Yeah, you can take a look. It's the guy...
Yeah, and he will be providing the reshade preset, as well as where to get the exact shader from, if you want to use it and be able to get all this. Obviously, again, I believe, again, reshade is going to be baked into the client, so you don't have to install that yourself. You can just open it up and set things yourself, or use the preset, as well as the special shader package that he will provide a link to if you want specifically this.
It's called Marty's Mods. If you Google Marty Mods, you'll see that he has like a whole thing. You can apply his textures to like any game.
I may try Marty's Mods for Dragon Quest 11 or 10 online and see how that looks. But I basically made my own custom texture or custom shader pack for Dragon Quest 10 that suited me. Yeah, I noticed he put the absolute most work into Windurst. I'm hoping he will put that same bit of effort into other places, particularly the lighting. Although this looks extremely good. Extremely good. Now here we went into my hometown, Bastoke.
Floor. The lights look so much better. Like, they were so grainy on retail.
Yeah, I tried to get the lights as nice as possible.
Oh yeah, like that in the middle. Very nice. Your hard work paid off.
Yeah, I prefer the way you went about it. Like, I appreciate Ash and Bub's hard work, but it's too cartoony for me.
Yeah, like
Just
the
for
googly
things.
eyes, right?
Yeah, it
Look at that flag, that stone flag printed up on there. That looks really good. Heck, I didn't even notice that that was even there in the original. And he just brought it up. Really, really good.
it's too like anime cartoony style.
I agree.
And here it retains a lot more of the like original.
Now notice the lighting here is coming out more, especially at night. Again, I'm probably gonna mess with the shader and put a little extra of the fake HDR to see if I can get it to pop out more for myself, but that's just my preference. I'm probably gonna mess around with it like I did with Dragon Quest X to make it look more darker in places and such with the fake HDR for my own preference. But we'll see. This preset does look pretty good though. Now I noticed the floral pattern on the stone here. Apparently this was always there. He just brought it out. But yeah, it's a sort of floral pattern on the ground. According to him, yeah, this was always there. Again, he just brought it out, I believe. Unless he actually did this himself. Personally, I kind of like it. Now, does it look strange for Bastoke, a place that's basically in the Badlands Desert Canyon area? I wouldn't put it past President Karst that he probably did this on purpose. You know, since there is a severe lack of flowers and greenery in Bastock, hey, why not put floral patterns onto the ground, right? But I think Sarg is going to change this, but I have no complaints on it. I think it looks good. I do like what he did to the metalworks here. A lot of you are going to be passing through this a lot, especially if you take like the outpost warp and all that. Apparently the outpost warps for ZenithXI is going to require doing garrison instead of a turn-in, I think. The original way it was supposed to be done, I believe. So garrison statics are probably going to be a thing. I'll have to make sure I get in on those. Or form them up myself. Overall, this looks good.
Did you add color?
And yeah, he even adds some color to it, because it's not all going to be gray, black stone. When you make stone flooring like this, even in the real world, you're going to use other colors as well. Namely, you know, not just black or slate color or gray, but you're going to use some brown stones too. So this makes it look more authentic. Okay. My closing thoughts, other than some of the comments I said, it all looks really good. It looks really, really good. I do look forward to helping beta test this, because I'm going to run it at all the max settings to check for stability, frame rate, and all that with my super high-end rig. I'm hoping he will improve the lighting in those places I mentioned. As well as for the launcher, I'm honestly highly impressed with the launcher. I'm highly impressed with what it has. I'm hoping he will add those additions that I mentioned as well, particularly for the music. If that's even possible, to add a toggle that will enable or disable certain tracks. Overall, I like this. And again, from what I've been hearing of what ZenithXI is going to do, it is a major step in the right direction, preventing a lot of the mistakes that Horizon did, and doing a lot of the necessary and grossly needed changes that servers like Eden refuses to do. Basically, I like that their motto is that they want to provide the Golden Era 75 experience while providing the quality of life and adjustment changes that makes sense. So I'm looking forward to this. I have high hopes for it. I'm hoping that it'll get an 800 plus or so population. Once people, more and more people see it, realize what it has and all that, and why it did all the changes and such it did. But again, ZenithXI is going to be a 75 era experience while going into the future expansions that went beyond 75. They're going to take it and they're going to convert it to 75, just like what Horizon is trying to do as well. But they're also going to make sure that every expansion comes out, they have fixed things. They're going to take their time with it, make sure it's all done correctly, it's all done right, and that the mistakes that previous servers have done, that they will prevent that and make sure that they don't make those same mistakes as well. So I like their careful approach. I like how they're going about it, and I'm hoping more developers will join in soon after knowing about it, after seeing what ZenithXI is trying to do, and I hope they will help it along, because I believe ZenithXI is going to be the future for Final Fantasy private servers going forward. And so far, all the developers have been very professional. Many of them are actually new to the private Final Fantasy XI private server scene, and thus, so far, they had good reputations. And I really hope going forward that they will make sure to keep things fair, that they will prevent any kind of GM abuse. I've seen gone rampant in many private servers before, and I really hope that ZenithXI will be the new future for private servers going forward. And so far, I'm liking everything that I see on it, and I encourage you to give it a try and check it out once it goes into its beta. And that's all from me. You can find a link to their Discord down at the bottom in the comments. You can find a link to my own Discord if you want to hear more about Dragon Quest X stuff and other things as well. Again, this is Ceciliantas, and hope to see you in ZenithXI in the future. Peace out.